still the Eastern Business Reports on the Afia Business Morning. I'm Nnamdi Obanya. And now we have with us in the studio, Emeka Ezeh, Head Corporate Communications, Eedc, with us to talk about the demolitions in Imo State. Good morning and good to have you here.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
It caught us off guard, a bit of a surprise, and I'm still trying to understand what is going on. So I guess I would need you to give like a brief overview of what happened, because it's just a strange thing. What I saw was your press statement, and I was confused. Like, so there was nothing that led up to anything. It's not like there has been a tussle or there has been a dispute. We just woke up one day, but maybe I'm the one to about the details. What exactly happened?
Okay, just the same way you're confused, we are as well. Like you rightly mentioned, it's not as if there was any issue with the state government. It's not as if there was any notification that our facility was encroaching or was going to be brought down. There was no letter or communication whatsoever to that effect. And boom, we saw yesterday excavator with policemen and the local government chairman of Olo was there present while this demolition was going on. And we're asking questions, trying to understand what really is going on. This is a facility that we've occupied for over 22 decades, right from the PACN era. And as much as we know is Eedc's facility. And to also crown it all, within that environment, it's not as if there's a project that the state government is embarking on and they want to, clear. So this is the only facility that was attacked within that space. So that calls for worry. Our equipment, we have transformers there, demolished our computers and server stations, because that's actually a district office for Olo. They have service centers that are dependent on the district. And while the business manager was trying to, ask questions and halt the team from further demolition, the force special squad picked him up, beat him up, and took him down to Owerri along with one other colleague, one other operation staff. And they were beaten mercilessly, okay? And we begin to ask, what actually is the problem? Nobody has told us anything. The only thing we heard that from the local government chairman was that they were acting under the instruction of the state government. That was what we know. And up till this moment, we have not gotten any information as to why this happened. So it's quite disturbing and something that we are finding difficult to understand.
So let me get this straight. I know that not all, but a lot of the facilities and assets that discos have were purchased with their licenses from PHCN. So a lot of former PHCN facilities, transformers that were on ground, feeder stations, discos acquired all these things. So the question is, it's not like it's a rented apartment.
It's not a rented apartment.
A landlord came.
It is Eedc property.
So
also remember that federal government still has 40% stake represented by BPE, and this facility is one of the facilities that has been handed over to Eedc. So it's not a rented facility. It's not a facility that is encroaching the road or something like that. And even if it's encroaching, is it the building? Is it all the building or the structures that we have there that are encroaching?
But I mean, let's even say you want to widen a road and you feel a facility is... There's a process.
There's a process. There has to be that communication to
even a compensation plan.
So it is. That's actually why we are quite disturbed. It's something that we've thought through, and we are we have not been able to arrive at.
And the local government chairman says he's acting under instruction of the state
Under
government,
instruction,
which is another thing that confuses me, because there are two tiers of government. If the state government wanted to carry out a demolition, it is the State Ministry of Works and not the local government that will carry it out.
Yeah, the local government chairman was present while this whole thing was going on, and it's happening within his own area. So I wouldn't know the extent of involvement and
he did not try to stop them.
No, he was there to oversee the demolition.
So the staff that were arrested, have they been released?
They had to bail themselves. In fact, when they were whisked away, effort was made to reach them. Their phones were not going through until eventually the guy called with another phone, inviting our team to come and meet them at ICC building. That is not a police station. And that was where they were negotiating their bail. So a lot of things is not, right.
Without making any assumptions, this does not seem like a very, very above board situation, because we are seeing arrests made but not to a police station. We are seeing demolition made without. So there is no notice.
No notice.
Formal or informal?
No notice.
Okay.
Except if they have notice that they presented, maybe they have to bring it forward. There's no notice.
Okay, so
there's no notification.
Is there any post-demolition information like we did this because, or are you still waiting to know why they did this?
We are still waiting to know why this happened. Nobody has spoken to anybody. Nobody has formally communicated why this incident happened to the business. So as you speak, we are still waiting to know why. And the effort is being made to, salvage some of the things that we can salvage, a lot of things,
so
a lot of
did they demolish every single building?
Buildings there were brought down.
Every single
one. We have the cash office, we have the store where we have our equipment, and we also have the security house brought down.
Every single building?
Yeah.
So, this is now, normally, if you tell me, they took defense, part of the first building.
It's not defense. They brought down the fence, they brought down the buildings.
And obviously, there's no warning, because we're seeing, in the footage, laptops, desks, chairs, people's personal belongings. The kind of things you don't take home every day. So
and they refused staff from, accessing those things to at least bring them out. They did not allow anybody access.
So people lost personal property inside there?
Yeah.
So, the Ministry of Works have said nothing?
Nobody has said anything. The efforts has been made since yesterday trying to reach out to know what the best information we have was the one that came from the local government chairman, who said that he's acting under instruction. So who could be the one giving the local government chairman instruction?
Honestly, because this is Nigeria, that can be any stakeholder. Because, Nigeria is a country of stakeholders. I've seen so many ridiculous things. I put nothing past anything in this country. The interest, it would be so shocking and appalling, the impunity with which people can act in this country. I'm trying hard not to come to any conclusion, but the evidence in front of me, no notice, formal or informal,
no notice,
no warning,
no conversation whatsoever.
Arrest of people who were at their workplace.
They are at their workplace. This thing happened in the morning. People were just coming to work, settling down, and
so they were arrested for being at work.
They were arrested for asking questions and trying to. It's just like you're in your home and they are trying to.
No, you're arrested for being at work, basically.
So, they beat the guy up and whisked him away, along with one of his...
Has the Eedc made any petition to the Inspector General of Police?
We are working on the next line of action. Of course, we won't take this lying low. We'll definitely seek redress and make necessary steps to getting clear information as to
I want to ask what the issue is with Imo and Power, because first of all, it's in Imo that unions in the power sector go on strike. It is because of them that Joe Ajero, everybody showed up in Imo. It is in Imo that there's blackouts for days. Like we're talking about the last time, they have the fewest, they have a single transmission station. Now they are demolishing Eedc property.
Of course, this is going to affect services rendered to customers within that area, because most of the equipment that we used to carry out our operations were affected by this.
So now, another thing I need to ask, Imo is one of the states too that is, setting up, I don't know how far they are in the process of setting up their own state-level electricity regulatory committee. Is it that they think that they need to drive out the Eedc to bring in their own people?
Okay, I wouldn't know. They've set up their regulatory commission, and we've been working closely with the team. So, as to the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's any issue at all. This is part of what is meant to happen. Whether it's okay with you or not, you're under obligation to comply. The Electricity Act has allowed states to, play within the space, and that they did by setting up their regulatory commission. And there's a transition period through which our own subsidiary will work hand in hand with the regulatory commission to set the ball rolling. We've been having meetings with them, and nobody saw any such animosity or behavior.
I ask this because I look at how the Southeast states are approaching this. Enugu says, Eedc form a local subsidiary so that we can deal within the confines of Enugu. We see in Abia, they're offering to buy some of the assets of Eedc in Umuahia. So we are seeing states engaging Eedc business to business. So my question is, because I'm not saying this, I'm just conspiracy theory I'm throwing out. Could it be that, someone close to the governor, from the governor's place in Olu, wants to take Olu as their area of coverage?
Even if you want to take, this is not the approach. This is not the right. The market is large for everybody to operate. So if you want to operate, there are procedures. You need to approach the State Regulatory Commission, obtain your license, and identify where you want to play. And it has to be where we are not present. It has to be where we are not providing service to people. And these are clear framework as to how this whole arrangement will work. It's not by edging out the other party. We have the license to operate within that state as it is today. And nobody has the right to come and push us out.
So there are two reasons we always hear when these kind of things happen. A lot of times they don't turn out to be true, but they are usually used. We usually hear things like illegal activities, kidnappers were operating in the place. Has there been any security issue with that facility?
Not at all. Not at all. I said this whole thing came as a surprise. We didn't see it coming. If there were issues, you can preempt that something like this one. There was no altercation. There was no conflict between the business and the state government. This thing just happened from the blues, and we're still taken aback.
Okay, government aside, is there maybe any land disputes with maybe community or anybody around that may just want to use, proximity to power to throw their weight around?
Not to our knowledge. Like I said, the facility, the property is our property. It's not under contention. Okay? It's a federal government facility that has been handed over to the distribution.
At the federal level, have relevant ministries like, the overseeing Ministry of Power, have they been informed about this development?
Of course, with this thing happening, various stakeholders will be notified. The regulators will be notified, as well as the other key industry players. In terms of operation, definitely this will impact on our operation within Olu, and it's not something that we're happy about. Our customers will also be impacted one way or the other, because services to them will be, disrupted.
I'm trying to make a logical I find it so difficult to make a logical case like, okay, this could be the reason. And there seems to be no point where I can get a hook. I'm looking for a hook. So it's not that there's been any security issue, because we know Olu has had its own share of
for some time, things have been quiet around there. Our people have been going about their businesses. Nobody has reported any case of, security issue around there. And
then it's not a thing where maybe the Ministry of Physical Planning has sent a message, this building is encroaching here.
There's no message. If you know that facility, you also know that there's no case of encroachment. It is on its own, and the road around it is wide enough. So it's not a case of you want to expand. Even if it's a case of expansion,
it's defense.
There should be
with
communication. Yeah. There should be notice. We are not against any move by state government to develop the area, but we need to be carried along.
Then I also noticed that right next door, you have a duplex there, you have other buildings there. So it's all, they just came to a building.
They just came, it was premeditated, it was planned, it was calculated, it was just our facility. There are other buildings around there that were not touched.
They were not touched.
It was just our facility that was touched, which goes to tell you that there's more to it that meets the eye.
And it's not a disgruntled customer who decided that I've not had lights for 6 months. And
if you're a customer and you're disgruntled, we have channels through which those grievances are.
I mean, when the logical and rational cannot provide answers, you find yourself moving towards the illogical and irrational to look for answers.
That was
because
extreme.
We are looking for answers. All the logical reasons are not giving me answers. So why don't I just move to where it's illogical? So, I mean, on a final note now, what are the next steps now? Because I know you said relevant stakeholders will be contacted, but, there's a legal issue here, there's a security issue here, there's a business issue here. There are so many issues in this, because it's not just the building. There's equipment that's stored in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a district office, then transformers to be deployed, meters to be deployed, cables are there.
The transformers that are there,
the amount of
we had to arrange to evacuate them to a safe place because scavengers, they were already there to, make away with what they could lay their hands on. So it's something that...
and there's the cost for doing that.
There's a cost.
There's the cost for evacuating them. Then there's the damage to property that could not be removed.
Most of the properties were damaged as a result of the activity of the excavator, Because if there was a notice, I don't think would have been to evacuate and move out some of those sensitive equipment.
Well, even a notice is not an eviction. A notice can be challenged. So there was no room to even challenge or anything.
There was no notice, talk less of challenging the notice.
I'm sure this story would throw up, and something tells me it's going to be something very, very, ridiculous. Like you're talking about one of the more irrational theories I brought out. Like maybe somebody who thinks this is the way
to go
to capture that area, to have the distribution company. Because I mean, this just reeks of, I don't want to use the word impunity. I'll wait till we have further information. But of course, we'll be here, we'll be investigating, and we'll also be here to push out to let Nigerians know what is going on. I feel bad for all the people who, just for being staff of a company, have to lose personal items in their office.
And get assaulted too.
And get assaulted because, which I think is high-handedness. I don't think, look, even if somebody gets really angry and enraged, I think they have a right to, if you come to their office without any explanation, drive an excavator in and just start tearing the roof from over their heads. I don't think I would have been shouting at you. I think that even as you were taking me to the cell, one of the people taking me to the cell would have had a very bad injury because I know what would have happened. But we'll be looking and watching. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for the opportunity.
It's very sad to see things like this. We're looking for how to develop the Southeast and increase business capacity, increase investment,
attract investment.
And if people think that on any given Sunday your investment could be brought to the ground,
is a red flag.
It's a red flag, and people would not want to come. So I'm appealing to security agencies, to the judiciary. This is your time to show that even when there are issues like this, people can know that there's recourse to law and they can get compensation for whatever issues have happened. We'll be watching, we'll be looking, but that's all we can take on the Eastern Business Report.